Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. I'm here with my lovely friend, Ona. Hi, Ona.
Hey, how are
So
you doing?
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
Busy?
Busy. And we're going to talk about the new moon in Pisces today. It is time for moon shadows, moon shadows. I love Cat Stevens. I really do. Now he's Yosef, I think.
Is he still on planted on Earth?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Um, but he goes by a different name now because he has a Muslim name.
Yes.
Yosef some I can't remember his last name, but that's not unusual for me not to remember a name. But so speaking of not remembering, Pisces, the Pisces new moon coming up on the 10th. It's not today, not quite yet. But the interesting thing about today is that we're moving into the balsamic phase between the sun and the moon today. And of course, that last phase of the moon is very much connected to Pisces, even though the moon's not quite in Pisces yet, right? The moon, I think, is moving into Aquarius, or will soon move into Aquarius today.
Because it's there, but it's hidden because it's right next door.
Yes, exactly. It's too close to the sun to be seen. So we're at that last little phase. And in Wicca, it's a very powerful time, but it's also like would be the time when I would never do this, but you would do a spell to, to be not so nobody knows, nobody sees, right? So
Mhm.
it's a powerful time of darkness, actually. And
Yeah.
of course, I think introspection. The phase that we're in between now and the new moon, which is happening in maybe, let's see, today is the 6th, so 4 days from now. Is today the 6th?
Today's the 6th, yeah.
So this is a time when we extract meaning from the lunation cycle that started with our last moon shadows episode when we did the new moon in Aquarius and the start of the year of the earth wood dragon,
Mhm.
which is about manifestation. How have you been manifesting, Mona?
A
Or what
lot
have you
of
been
it is,
manifesting?
yeah, a lot of it has been channeled through the art that I think I've realized I've always had a penchant for is this neurogenic art or Zen tangle art. So I've engaged in some big project and I did this, I think this past week. I have to look. That 3-3 portal that you did a message
Yeah.
from um was huge.
Mm.
Was huge. So a lot of stuff is going to be dated. This was 3-1, but here's the new moon in Pisces. I use the same template I use on some other stuff, but a lot of it, and this one I just started today, is really focusing because everything is so loud and clear. And the energies, there are a lot of different energies that are new and newer to me, right? And some things are just very, very clear. And I've had to divert a lot of that through art.
And this is the first time that you've experienced a Pisces or upcoming Pisces new moon because the energy is
Yep.
percolating, right?
Mhm.
In that new space with when you look out the window, all you see is blue. You might as well be on the ocean
Yeah.
because you're on the lake, right?
Two different
It's
layers.
actually it's an inland sea. It's not really a lake.
It's very deep.
It's very deep and it's huge. And you're just looking at it and you're like, Is that the ocean? It might
Yeah,
as
you
well.
can't see like Wisconsin or, yeah, I can't see Canada or anything like that. It's like the ocean. It's called the third coast for that reason. It's a dark blue, light blue, and it's just two layers of blue. It's pretty, it's breathtaking.
Yeah, and that's the Pisces
God, it's
energy, right?
windy.
That's
Yes,
right there, the Pisces behind me. So,
yes,
of course, Pisces is a very magical sign, but it can also be a very confusing sign. So people are feeling perhaps a tad confused. Um, we can look at it, but what has your, what's your experience been? Um, um, I want to say at work, without, you know,
yeah.
yeah, just
Oh, I wouldn't compromise anything. I think in this cycle I've seen just last night that the majority of people are short of breath because their hearts are congested or they just have some kind of respiratory sort of thing going on. Not a lot of COVID. There's no COVID. We didn't have anything like that. And then a lot of the Pisces related things also heavy drinking
mm,
and behavioral disorders, suicidal thoughts, and those kinds of things a lot in a very young age range, which of course, when I see this like 10 or 12-year-old or whatever, I put them in my file.
right, right.
And I
And I
think
think,
a lot.
one of the themes of Pisces is well, martyrdom. And I think that with what we see going on in places like Gaza, and then, even if you don't want your children to watch that, it's not, you can't not, like there's no real way unless they're young, for
Yeah,
them not to see what's going on. And it really, I mean, as a young, I mean, it's hard enough for me as, a woman in her 60s, early 60s, but 60s all the same, with life experience to see that stuff and not be affected. And I think that we have to take that into consideration, that the children are seeing, um, like what, like almost there can be a sense of, what's the use? What's the use?
yeah,
It's a terrible place. They're, like, so it's understandable on a level, and of course, you know, things like opiates are
yeah,
connected to Pisces as well.
exactly.
And
Oh,
that's
you
something
know
else.
what? I have to say, because I see the letters in my head again, is the term or acronym HSP has been coming up often, often, often. And that is a hypersensitive person.
Oh yeah.
So if you see that sort of like starting to pop up, that is a dominant theme sort of running through right now.
I would say, yeah. As somebody with a Pisces moon.
Right? Like you go to the grocery store and just have a shirt saying I'm HSP and people will be like, I get it. I'm so sorry. Like yeah, and they'll let you down the aisle because it's overwhelming to have all that input. But HSP, and I think if we can relate it to just what we do in a spiritual level, that people are getting more sensitive to their own intuition and
That's right.
guidance that's outside of themselves.
Right. And
And
you don't have to be tapped in mentally to feel it energetically.
yeah,
And I think that's part of the problem. Well, I don't think it's a problem. I think it's part of the evolution that we're going through.
yeah,
Now this new moon in Pisces is actually, I'm going to pull it up, okay?
yeah,
We'll pull it up and take a look at it.
yeah,
Um, so this has a couple of very interesting things happening. This just happens to be for the United States. This one, I should probably put it as a Aries rising. You know what? Let me see if I can do that. Hold on one second. I may or may not be able to do that quickly because we'll really get a sense with everything in the 12th house just how, you know, Okay. Let's
So
see.
he stays back there and he looks at me through the chair. Come here, you're just a bad dog. Come here. Giblets. Fanny.
Oh, honey. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Hold on a second.
My head, I'll get
There
him.
we go.
Yeah. I'm gonna trade you in for Maddie. She wears the same sweatshirt as her dad. Come on.
Okay.
We met these really cool people. This little Frenchie, and she had matching sweatshirts with her dad.
Oh.
I'm like, I love this neighborhood so much.
Ah, ah, ah.
French bulldog. Oh,
Um, so I was listening to Anne Orderly today, and who, by the way, if anybody wants to listen to some really good astrology, she does some really good astrology. Did I just do? Oh, Jesus, Marion. Joseph. Can't forget Joseph. All right, let's try again, Skirbo. I just ended up doing the same thing over than that I actually already had. Okay, here we go. This looks better. Right. So this is just with the Aries rising, so it doesn't matter. This is for everybody. But one of the things Anne Orderly mentioned in her astrology was that this new moon at 21 degrees of Pisces is at the midpoint of Saturn and Neptune. And she described this as a weak point. And what I got from that was that if there is a weak point in something, that this is the new moon where that will express itself. And I sense that she was talking about like a dam or something like that. So, and here where I live, it's been raining for a number of days. It's been a lot of rain. And I have to imagine, and I think we had all that snow in California and other places. I think the South is getting inundated with rain. So all this Pisces energy is about like
water.
dissolution. It dissolves away. The
Mhm.
energy of Pisces is one of dissolution. And with Saturn in Pisces now, Saturn's only in Pisces every 30 years. And Saturn is now in a new portion of Pisces because it went to about, I think, 8 degrees last year before it went retrograde. So now it's like sort of starting, and it's in that second decan of Pisces, right? So there's 3 decans to each sign. The first decan is Pisces, Pisces. The second decan would be Pisces, Cancer, right? The second decan of Pisces is moon ruled, and we have a new moon in Pisces. Um, so this is a powerful dissolving energy.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking before in the pre-call, as it were, about the Saturn-Neptune conjunction that is going, Saturn is actually what we call balsamic to Neptune. It's moving towards Neptune to a conjunction. And that's going to happen in 2026. And that's happening at the first degree of Aries. And this is really, in a way, the last new moon in Pisces that's sitting between Saturn and Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, we have a new moon in Pisces, and it's Saturn and Neptune. Actually, the next year's new moon in Pisces, Saturn is at 21 degrees Pisces, where this new moon is. So there's some sense to me of this is really like an ending of something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Pisces deals with martyrdom and the victimizer sort of energy. And the idea of somebody's going to save us. I think once we have Neptune and Saturn in Aries, which
Yeah.
incidentally, oh, I think we have that. Let me pull that up. I'm pretty sure I have that.
And Mercury just moves into Aries right there too. which is, I think, a good thing.
So this is the next new moon that occurs in Pisces is happening at 10 degrees of Pisces. Isn't that where Saturn? Oh, so what's happened? Hopefully nobody gets confused by this. We were like so fascinated. We were like, oh my God, right? So this is this new moon. Here's Saturn. Here's Neptune. This is at the midpoint. Okay. The next new moon next year. Okay, hold on. Is at 10 degrees of Pisces. Here's Saturn at the same degree as the new moon of this year. And there's Neptune at the end again. And
Mhm.
look, we have the North Node in Pisces as well. So I didn't even see that. The North Node's in Pisces. Now, let me, what is this? I don't even know. What am I looking at?
Electional event.
Oh, that's the next new moon, right? That's the next new moon in Pisces. That's next year. Oh, China. Okay, so then the other thing we talked about was the last time Neptune and Pisces, and the last time Neptune and Saturn came together was 36 years. Well, less than that, 30, 34 years ago, because it's going to come back together in 2016. So you subtract 2000 and see, this is a Pisces thing, right? I'm
Mhm.
trying to do math in my head with the Pisces new moon on my
I,
moon, mind you.
I have to order some minestrone soup because I don't know if I have all the ingredients.
Oh my God.
And
So back in 1989, Neptune
numbers.
and Saturn conjoined, right? So let me just see if I can find those charts.
So, and what happened at that time and the things that are repeating themselves possibly in the same, frequency, kind of.
Well, yeah, but like at a different, like at maybe even a more evolved level, we would like to think, right?
Hopefully. Mhm.
So here's the first one. This was March 3rd, 1989. That was the last time that Saturn and Neptune came together. And now 36 years later, they're going to come together in 2026. And the reason we're bringing this up is because this sort of new moon in Pisces is sort of bringing that energy back in, perhaps looking for a weak spot in the relationship.
Or a launch, a portal, maybe,
Yeah,
to
yeah. So you talk
jump
because
into.
you looked it up. What was going on in 89 that we can align to now? Or
We had the Berlin Wall, which I think was mentioned on Pam Gregory's channel. And when I thought about that, immediately I thought I remember exactly where I was when I heard that news and how it led me to think that this could be possibly occurring in other political areas now that we've given a chance to repeat ourselves and free up both sides. Maybe it'll happen again.
yeah, where something that was
That's why
up
the
for a
China
long
chart came
time
up.
comes down. That could be, there is a wall between Israel and Gaza, you know. Oh, so that and um
Anything that has that theme connected to it,
yeah, being walled off.
write
And
it
of course,
down.
and we have to take into consideration that if you watch Fox News, which of course we don't, all they're talking about is an invasion at the southern border, which
Oh,
isn't, as far as I understand, isn't really happening. They're just, it's like an imaginary. I'm not saying there's not issues down there. There are definitely issues, and things could definitely be different.
yeah,
But they're talking about a scenario that's not quite happening.
yeah.
It's like their imaginary crisis. And the meantime, we have all kinds of crises that are not imaginary. And
Yeah.
the Republicans don't look at them,
Yeah.
right? The Republicans aren't looking.
Well,
So this
they
was
don't
the
want to
first,
clean up this mess.
huh?
They don't want to
Well,
clean up their mess. They don't
well, they
want
don't want to take responsibility for anything, or I don't know. It's hard to,
to.
well, if their inglorious leader is the Mango Mussolini, as he's known to some.
Everything about him is so artificial. I can't help to think that, he's a robot, honestly.
He's AI. Oh, let's not go there. We talked
Oh,
about
you're not,
that. No, we're not going to talk
not
about
gonna
that.
start
We're
that.
not talking about that. So this was the first conjunction. There were three conjunctions in 89. The first one was between Saturn and Neptune at 12 degrees of Capricorn, where Pluto is going to spend a few more months and then out for 250 years. So in a way, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Capricorn was really the start of the dissolution that as Pluto moved through Capricorn, sort of like is putting the last nails in the coffin for, right? So
Yeah.
this is the second one. This one was also at 12. And the United States sun is at 13. So all of these conjunctions at the time of Tiananmen Square, at the time of the Berlin Wall coming down, was in an opposition to the United States sun. And then the last one, which I think was the one around the time of the Berlin Wall coming down, because I believe it was in the fall of 89, that occurred at 11.
Significant events you can relate to because it looks like that's going to show up again.
Well, certainly isn't China and Russia in the, or even the whole idea of the Berlin Wall came down and now we have Putin wanting to like push back out and reclaim the Soviet Union,
Yep.
right?
Might be the end of that.
Well, that wouldn't be a bad thing.
Would not be a bad thing, as was the Berlin Wall coming down.
And then of course, with the theme of martyrdom, right? Front and center with Navalny being a martyr for his people.
It is, yep. Look at that. Do you see how the energies like manifest themselves? You can relate to the things that are going on and relate to what happened in 1989 or,
For those
what.
who are old enough, anyway.
Oh, there's a couple of 2, 3 of us out
Maybe, yeah. So I guess what we could say about this new moon is it may reveal a weak spot, but it's also there's also a dreamy quality about it. Maybe dream the dream. Oh, let me read. I have a book. Oh, here it is. Excuse me a second while I
there. Yeah,
try not
that's
to fall off my
very
stool.
Piscean to have more dreams, recall more bits of dreams, start a dream journal. I think too is art, music, anything that channels and information that you didn't think came out of you, sort of thing. Right?
Well, that's the thing. See, Pisces is the great cosmic sea of creation from which all things rise up. And when things move into Aries, they're moving up and out from that great cosmic sea into beingness. So this is a time of profound and powerful dreaming, whether it's dreaming where you put your head down on the pillow when you sleep, or you're dreaming the dream of your life. So this new moon is at the midpoint of Saturn and Neptune, and I'm going to read what the midpoint of Saturn and Neptune is symbolic of. It says, giving substance to the dream, making the intangible tangible, clarifying the nebulous, possibly losing touch with reality or having a clouded sense of reality. Now, we're going to see all of this.
Mhm.
You decide what you want to do with this, right? But we're going to see it out in the world. Um, so it says bending the rules, possible blurring or unclear boundaries, or deception to gain control. And I think we're seeing all of that, honestly,
Yeah, yeah.
right? We're seeing all, I mean, Netanyahu was deceiving. Um, he said, like it's just not just him, he's not the only one.
Oh
There's a
my gosh, yeah. It
there's a
boils
lot.
down to local stuff. I mean,
I know.
truly,
Right, smoke and mirrors. That's the
all of it.
energy. Smoke
Hmm.
and mirrors. So I'm gonna stop the share so we can see each other in full regalia, as it were. Uh, so have you thought about any um any crystals for the
I
altar?
think it's pure Labradorite style crystal thing going on for sure. I
Yeah.
started with trying to draw a picture of Labradorite.
And it came out as a fish.
Yeah, but those definitely the picture and the picture and the picture. And I think it's a Piscean stone anyway. And the basil thing came up big when I just asked, like, what can I present? What do I need? What is this new moon about? And it's basil. And I have not been able, when I planted the seeds yesterday or the day before and trying to get that started. I have a plant here that I threw seeds in, but they're too small to use because I eat it like salad. I always have it,
Basil is not that easy to grow. I've never found it easy to grow by.
it's hard inside. Yeah.
I
And by
guess unless you have a hothouse or something like that.
the bunnies love the sweet stuff. Basil is on that scale for sure. You have to put a bunny cage over. The basil, I think people, you are fenced in for a reason, I'm sure. So the basil thing was like harmony, peace, but some of the things you hear about when you talk about Pisces energy, harmony, peace, bringing that in, relaxing, compassion. Come here, you want some basil?
He has something to say. So, I would also like a couple of other things you might want to put on your altar if you have some shells, because Pisces is the ocean, right? And maybe some sand dollars. Wouldn't that be good for like some, because this is a manifesting time. This is
Yeah,
definitely a manifesting time. And you're manifesting your dreams. And so it's I think it's real important at this time, especially between now and the new moon and going forward, is to continuously focus on the thing that you want in your life and not the things that either stress you out. I mean, there's always something people have to deal with. I mean, people work, people have family. You
yeah,
can't live an isolated, in a bubble kind of life. But when you feel yourself getting that, what's going to happen? Oh no, the Supreme Court said this, like everything. If you let everything that's coming down right now affect you, you're
yeah,
not going to make it. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to make. You have to let it. If Pisces doesn't teach anything, it's just to go with the flow because everything comes
yeah,
out in the wash, right?
yeah.
That's Pisces.
It has that, and that's so true. That's so true. That is another experience I had at work where people were first time in a position or found themselves having to make some executive decisions without and that or they haven't been a nurse for very long in a pool of craziness and they were scared and I told them they're going to do fine to break through that fear
Right.
because you can't turn back.
You just have to do what you do. You have
You
to
have to do
do
it.
what's in front of you, right?
Mhm.
You have to, that's the one thing about, working with patients, or for me in patients, it's like when a person comes in and they're in intractable pain practically, and you're like, all right, I'm going to pound on this person now. There's a little bit of a,
Yeah,
I mean, you evaluate the situation. For me, you evaluate the situation. If not everybody's gonna you know, get better. And like, but I remember one time and when when I first came to Massachusetts, I covered practices and before I could decide where I wanted to live. And so I was looking around the state, and this woman came into this practice, and was she was a young woman. She could barely walk, and I was like there for, it was either I was there for like 2 or 3 days, and this was my last day. She might have been my last patient. I don't know, but I knew that if I could get her SI to adjust, that she would be out of pain. But if I didn't get it quite right, she'd be in more pain. Like it was just that kind of, she was in so much pain.
Yeah.
So I just sort of, you know, you just have to like be in the moment, you get it and you do what needs to be done. It went pop. She stood
Yeah.
up and she walked out and she was pain free. So you have to just deal with it, you know, head on. And I think um, just do the tasks at hand in the
Yeah.
energy. I think it's real important. Otherwise, you'll feel like you're, you know, drowning. I don't know,
Mhm.
treading water.
Yeah. Yeah. That's Pisces.
Well, yes,
And
it is. And
water.
I think one other good crystal with Pisces would be aquamarine, if you can afford it, because it's expensive. Or you might have a piece of jewelry. I think aquamarine, and always amethyst, always amethyst with
Yeah.
Pisces. Pisces always, because that's the crown. It's the amethyst is the crown chakra.
Yeah.
So we said labradorite, which is sort of like third eye crown,
Yeah.
and aquamarine, which feels more like throat and heart to me.
Hmm.
And what was the last thing we Labradorite, aquamarine,
Amethyst.
amethyst. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and maybe a little bit of
On your
hematite.
altar.
Oh, yeah, and then if you're gonna wear something this time because it's so nebulous, maybe wear a little hematite lower on your body, maybe like a ring or a neck or a bracelet. You could wear earrings if you want, but they tend to like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Heavy.
For me, it's hard for me to wear hematite around my head because it's my earlobes are so sensitive.
Yeah.
Has to be
Yeah.
a small piece.
Yeah. Definitely need some grounding. It's gonna be a good one.
It's good. It's going to be beautiful. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the mystical, magical mystery tour, really.
Yeah.
And it is a time of inspiration. And if you are someone who responsibly can alter your state of consciousness, if you know what I'm saying, it's not a bad thing because you know, unless you have an issue, if you have an addiction issue, you should really, because this would be a time when people might fall back into that. So that's something else that you need.
Yeah. If you think about those times or you may
Travel
contact
responsibly,
with
as they say.
the
Sorry.
people from that time and you have history, it's easy to fall back into the history. That's what the energy presents itself for, to see how you evolved.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, anything else on your radar? I was looking, I wanted to pick,
Basil like crazy. Like I cannot wait to have a basil sandwich. I don't even
I'm,
have bread.
I'm going to pick a mystical sisters
I know.
oracle card for
Oh,
this.
I did. That did the sacred starseed oracle did fall out of the cabinet.
Oh, obviously wants to be heard.
That's so bad it wouldn't get any
I think we should do a mystical
blood or
sisters.
dust.
We should do a mystical sisters podcast. What do you think?
That'd be awesome.
Right? We could do it and then we can have our mystical sister friends on. And you don't have to be,
We could do
you can
some
be,
art.
you could be a mystical sister or a mister. We don't care. We're non-denominational and everybody's invited. So very Pisces of us. You have Saturn in Pisces, right? Yeah, you have Saturn there. I have the moon.
I do have Saturn in Pisces, and the little piece of pearl showed up from nowhere. That's
Oh,
Pearl's hair. That is not, I know I need to vacuum. But this card is from Pearl.
yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
This card is from Pearl, who obviously has some Pisces energy.
And my girl Gretchen, my German Shepherd Gretchen, her name is Gretchen. Gretchen means pearl. She's also in spirit. So this is from Gretchen.
That's from Gretchen. This window's the Pearl window. Yeah. Okay, buddy. He's so cute. I've been so lucky to have some cool animals, and even luckier to remember that I stopped to play with them. Every time Camille had a little something in her mouth and she wanted to play. I mean, I was super lucky to have members like that. Miss that guy. This one. I got Inner Earth. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings.
There you go. I love it. So I got Artemis, the moon goddess, by the way, with her dog, looks just like Gretchen. This is Gretchen saying, I'm coming back, Mom.
Stop it now. Let me see the card again. That is Gretchen. Look at her.
Just like her, right? My goodness
That's
gracious.
so
My
awesome.
baby girl. It says
She's
hunting.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It says hunting, sinking, and perfect aim. Artemis is the Roman goddess of the hunt, and she is on a mission. She has a clear purpose and skills to achieve her objective. Artemis is intensely focused and determined. Through much self-discipline and education, she has developed not only perfect aim, but also all the patience and prowess to track her prey. She has unceasing ambition and an adventurous spirit, which enables her to discover her passion. Drawing this card is a call to action to more enthusiastically pursue your goals and dreams. Didn't we say that? If your dream has yet to be solidified in your mind, be more adventurous and try new paths. Artemis represents the expertise it takes to know when to watch and wait and when to stride or strike.
Seems like a spring goddess to me.
She's always been, of course, like when I was a kid, it was always Artemis or Diana, whichever one you wanted to. Yeah, yeah.
Inner Earth is about, and this I think also came up in a video I watched about this new moon, about the dimensions coming out of the water that we can relate to. Lemuria, Atlantis. So there's room for stories that are coming up from water. And that's very Piscean.
Yes, yes.
It's so Pearl.
It's so Gretchen. You know, Gretchen had a Pisces moon.
See, she wanted you to talk about her.
Well, you know, I am walking Duke in the morning now, so she doesn't want to be forgotten. But you know, like it's
No,
been a long time since Gretchen and Boo left, and I haven't really felt like I could have another dog yet. But I'm starting to feel it again, and so it'll be interesting to see if they come through that way.
I couldn't do a puppy. I don't have the energy, the space, or the time in between space to get the dog out of the house, to go to the bathroom. A puppy is not in my thing, but another senior for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And of course, you're in a high rise. It's different. I just have to go outside my door.
yeah.
It's different. It's, you know, and I love animals, but I didn't actually get a dog until I had a home
Yeah.
of my own. I didn't feel like it was fair not to have that
Yeah.
for the dog. So, yeah. Well, Anything else coming to mind, or have we dreamed the dream?
I think we're about to dream the dream.
I like that. So from our dream to your dream. No. From our heart to yours, dream the dream. Focus on what you want to bring into your life, and it will be. Make it so, number one. Take care, everyone. We love you.
Bye, guys.